What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new commentary video. Today we're just kicking it old school, some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 survival. So, I'm just here to have a good old time, feel nostalgic today. But I don't have a viewer suggestion, but we're just gonna hop right into things. So anyways, just the other night, I was talking with a good friend of mine about relationships, and he's somebody that recently got out of a relationship, and we were just kind of having a little chat about that, and he was just kind of venting and stuff. But something that he said to me was really interesting, and we're talking, and he goes, "Hey man, I really miss her." And I was like, man, that's really relatable. I feel that. I've been in that same place, whatever. And then he said to me, part of me wants her to come back, and part of me wishes she would come back. And I'm thinking about her, and I was like, look, man, I'll be really honest and say that she's not thinking about you. And that's what I want to talk about today, is that she's probably not thinking about you. And I know that that's sometimes hard to hear and something that you don't want to hear, but the reality is that she's probably not. And I've been there, and I don't know, man. I think that a lot of people have this hope that it's going to be like a movie and that she's going to come back to you. And the reality is that she's probably not. And number one, you probably don't want her to. You don't want to be in one of these relationships that is this off and on again, fucking we're constantly fighting, we're constantly breaking up and getting back together, because that's not healthy either. And she's not, and you got to learn to fucking move on. And I don't know, I just found this really interesting because, I also went back and I rewatched that old regular show episode after we talked about it, where Mordecai and Rigby are in the void, and Mordecai's like, I'm still thinking about Margaret. Part of me wants her to come back. And I feel like I'm Rigby in this situation, be like, she's not coming back, dude.
I really do like CJ.
Duh, you do.
I'm just afraid of what'll happen because part of me is still waiting for Margaret to come back.
What? Still? She's not coming back, dude. She's gone.
Look, I know, all right? I know. It's just, I don't still have feelings for her, but I do in a way. It's like this thing that's inside of me, and it's always just sort of sitting there, waiting around. And sometimes I'll see something, or I'll smell something, and it makes me think of her, even though I don't want to. I really like CJ. She's amazing. But is it fair for me to go out with her if I still think about Margaret sometimes?
But I just find that really interesting. And I think that a lot of people wish that they could have old relationships back, but the past is in the past. And part of it is that you're going to learn to realize is that relationships end for a reason. No relationship doesn't just end because it fucking ends. There's always a reason. Or what I want to tell you is that it ended for a reason, and it should stay like that. And it doesn't matter if it's your fault or her fault. It doesn't fucking matter. But what does matter is this. She made the decision that she wanted the relationship to end. She made the decision that she doesn't want you in your life anymore. Guess what? Live with it. Okay? You're not the first guy that it's happened to, and you're not going to be the last. And when I say that is that, guess what? I think that all men have had the girl that got away, right? There's sort of that, every guy's had that. And it's not meant to be, brother. You're going to meet some great fucking girl soon, okay? And that's what I told him too. We're having this conversation. I was like, dude, you're a great guy. You're not a piece of shit, I know who you are. And I was like, look, man, just take some time and just take a break. Take a break from dating, and you're going to find that girl. And it's funny because I went through this too. I talked about it a bit in the last video, where I talked about, dating a girl and thinking that she's the one and she's not. I didn't realize that I was going to meet somebody great until I got to college. I didn't know that was going to fucking happen. It was kind of not luck. It was one of those things where it's going to happen. I'm telling you. And that's one thing that I always try to tell people is dude, good shit's going to fucking happen. Don't fucking act like some pussy that's like, oh, nothing good ever happens to me. Oh, girls never like me. Brother, there's, how many people there are in the fucking world? There's 8 billion of us. 4 billion of those are women. Okay? Come on, brother. There's going to be at least one chick out there that's into you. And that's something that I don't like, is when men automatically have this idea where oh, no girl's going to like me. Oh, I'm so misunderstood. Nobody's out there for me. Brother, I promise you there is. And that girl that broke your fucking heart, she's not the one. And I don't want you to settle either. Don't fucking settle and be like, oh, well, that was the only girl for me. No, okay? And I think this is a big thing too, with people that are younger than me. If you're still in high school, I've talked about it, but if you're still in high school, I've met people that think that, oh man, this girl, she broke up with me and that's it. I'm done dating. No. Okay? No. And, I think that a lot of people will spend time dwelling on that and pray that she comes back and hope she comes back. And you don't want that. brother. Because, some people are like, I messed up, I fucked up the relationship, I did all this stuff. And it's like, okay, that's a possibility. You may have. I don't know your situation. But you know what I do know? Is that you didn't see how great you are. And that's something that I like to remind people of all the time, is that I think that for the most part, everybody has good qualities. And, I don't think that there's a really normal person that doesn't have something good about them or doesn't have something that makes them stand out from other people. And you just got to find that thing and what makes you stand out and what girls are going to think stands out in you, maybe your creative spirit, it may be your work ethic, and it may be resources that you have, and maybe your emotional availability, and maybe whatever. You got to find that thing, man. And sometimes it's not evident, and sometimes you're going to feel like I haven't made any improvements or anything like that. But the major thing is this, is that when I was 16 and I kind of had this idea that no girl's ever gonna want me, I'm alone. There's plenty of girls, okay? And they're gonna come along. I don't mean, in like, some people get that misconstrued when I say that, when they're like, oh, you just want me to date anybody? No, brother. What I'm telling you is that there's literally like basically an infinite amount of women that you're going to meet in your life. And a majority of them aren't going to be girls that you're going to want to date, but there's going to be a few standouts that are going to be these people that you are going to fall in love with, really. And they're going to be the people that you end up dating. And I don't want you to just fall in the same old trap of going back to the same chick that breaks your heart every time. Because I know guys that are like that too. I know guys that will go back and forth with these girls. And like, they're not fucking happy. They think that they're happy in the moment because they get this rush of dopamine and the serotonin. But the truth is that it's not good for them. It's actually like kind of hurting their future relationships because they're basing all future relationships off of this one girl. And they're expecting that the girls are always going to come back. They're expecting that there's always going to be that connection. And sometimes there's not going to be, brother. And I don't want you to be in this sort of like zeitgeist where you think forever and always, I'm going to always have this girl to come back to. I don't want you to think that. That's an awful way of thinking, an awful way of living, an awful way of life, honestly, is just constantly thinking, I'm going to always be able to come back to this one girl. That's not what a relationship is designed to be, and I don't want you to fall into that trap. And, I don't like to say this all the time, but, sometimes I think that if you're really stuck up on a girl, sometimes it's nice to get out there and meet new people. I think that a lot of people sort of like, when they get heartbroken, a lot of the advice, and I give this advice a lot of the times too, is, take your time. Don't rush into a relationship. Every once in a while, I kind of think for some people, depending on what your issue is get out there a little bit, man. Meet some new people, talk to some people. I'm not saying you got to date these girls, brother, but just get out there a bit, man. And like, learn to move on. And don't like bring in your past baggage into this next relationship. I don't think that's a good idea either. But, that's what I've done, is just kind of, learn to move on a bit. And ironically, my current partner that I've been with for 2 years now, when I started dating, I just got out of a quote unquote relationship. It wasn't very long. It was like, we were dating for a couple months. Not even that. We were dating for like a month and a half. And like, it was cool and all, but it was like time for things to end. And I was like, okay, this was the kind of relationship where I just need to fucking, get out there and move on. And, afterwards I felt great. And I met the person that I'm with right now. And, things are great. So, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone too and just meet some new people. Anyways, that's what I would recommend to do. Anyways, guys, I just kind of want to sit down and chat about that a little bit today. I know that today's was a bit short and stuff, but yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed. As always, there's a link to join our Discord. Also, feel free to subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.
Perception is all that they can see. Amazes me, I found a group of people who found faith in me. Team wit until my death, I'll fucking take that to the grave with me. They can't see through bullshit, so they're left with only fake and weak. 10 writers to write timber, spill my soul and no one's playing me. It's plain to see, they hate